whenever I've heard the fact that, like, we are not in the world is in us. I've always tried to sort of understand that. And yesterday when I was sitting in the doctor's office, it just became, there was this feeling that everything was simply consciousness, and that everything that I was seeing, thinking, looking at, everything was just simply that. And including myself, it was like, so it was just a sense that I was beyond that, maybe the pure consciousness or the presence, simply witnessing that, including myself in the scene too. So
yeah,
it was just kind of like one of those times when I had that somewhat of an awareness of what that means, that I'm not in the world. I'm not in the world. The world is within me, actually. Not me, Andrew, but me as, selfless self or presence or pure consciousness, just that.
exactly. It can't be within Andrew, because Andrew within that you are witnessing.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing. That's like, if you're ever in a room with people and you sort of see the walls and then think if that's like inside a mind, everything that's occurring in that room that you are also in, it's occurring inside of a mind.
Mm-hmm.
And all the activities and all the things that are going on in this room and all the people and all the interactions, if you can sort of picture that that's in this mind, and then that it's your mind and this body and all these bodies and all this activity, and there will be like this profound kind of recognition. This happened in Nashik in singing the bhajans. It was almost like witnessing the bhajans creating the ashram into like a little shoebox, and sort of witnessing this shoebox that was known that this was inside of yourself. And you see all the people and because what's happening is it's vibrating the body. It's loosening, and this hold that you have on the body is being loosened by bhajan, by mantra. Your identity with the body is fading. The reality is you're not body, you are not body, you're not going to remain body. Body is not your identity. But as you do mantra, as you do bhajan and these sort of things, you start to lose that hold on that body. You remain more in your formlessness and less in the form. Then your formlessness using form, but you're no longer attached to that form. And that's as you the vibrations shake up this solidity of body. You start to view the body as not something solid, but something that's it's projected on your presence. And this presence, you use this body, but you're not this body. Like loose clothes as opposed to tight clothes. If you wear the very tight clothes, 2 sizes too small, you'll definitely notice the clothes. You'll be very uncomfortable. But if you start to wear like loose, floppy clothes, you'll barely feel the clothes on you at all. And you're loosening this stranglehold on this beingness, on this body knowledge that you believed yourself to be at one time.
Maharaj says that you are nothing, and this means you are everything. And, I think that, I guess when he says you are nothing in particular. You're not a particular thing, which means you're everything then. Is that correct?
Everything's occurring inside your selfless self.
Yeah. And it comes and goes. It's like, it rises from nothing. Everything arises from nothing, then goes back into nothing. It's like in Das Boot, it's like the wind, it just sort of appears, happens, and then it's not there any longer.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
It's based on the movement of mind and the I am somebody else.
Yeah.
If there's not an I am somebody else, then no occurrence has occurred, because there's no one there to witness any occurrence. It's just a happening without anybody behind it. When it says everything comes out of nothing and everything dissolves back into nothing, and in between there appears to be something. When the mind stirs and there's an I am somebody else, then there's you in time observing some sort of activity. But if that doesn't stir, then the activity comes through, but there wasn't an I am somebody else and the wheels of mind turning, identifying with thoughts as this is something that's happening to me. Because there's not a me.
Yeah.
And you just remain. You know, when Maharaj says, remain with your selfless self, all the stuff that's out here, you're in complete and total bliss, this formless peace, this formless presence. And then you give away this sense when an I am somebody else is created, because there's something out there that the attention is drawn to, some desire or some fear or something that the attention is drawn to. But without an I am somebody else being created, fears and desires and all these things, thoughts, everything just comes and goes. Scenes come and go. There's no longer this idea of a me in time progressing through a life. There's just here, now, immediate, with no sense of anyone in it. And anytime there is, because again, you, the selfless self, will turn up the heat and allow things to come into your experience to test your spiritual knowledge, basically. We used to call them problems. Now they're just challenges that are testing your spiritual knowledge. The ideas, beliefs, and concepts you might be holding about yourself in any given moment will allow some sort of reaction. And if there is a stirring for a reaction, stir instead and mantra. And the more this mantra, the more this mantra, the more you'll turn up the heat, the more, quote, personalized items will come into your experience. You'll mantra through them, and then you'll absolutely know. There is no need to form an I am somebody else. There's no need. It's just here. This instrument is just moving about here and there, and you're just responding in the moment as it's appropriate, without having to use memory to see how I'm supposed to be responding, or without any kind of code of conduct other than it's just formlessly aware.